Hey dolls, and welcome back to my channel. So today is my part 4 of my 5-part series on drugstore foundations that are raved about for oilies. Actually, the more I'm trying drugstore foundations, the more I'm liking them and the more I'm being a non-snob to drugstore foundations and drugstore makeup. And today I'm really excited for my part 4 because today we're going to review this foundation that is made for us to look great on photos. And I love selfies and taking photos of me and my family, so I am so excited to try this. So first, let's read the claims. So this foundation is specially made with a matte light diffusing complex to give your skin a no filter perfection. It's high performing breakthrough formula featuring light adjusting complex to help prevent white cast in photos. It is also tested under several light conditions with and without the use of flash. It is actually tested on several light conditions with top smartphone models. It is tested on clear blue sunlit sky, outdoors PM, indoors PM, electronic flash, fluorescent light, bathroom light, and nightclub light. We can't go to clubbing because of COVID. But I remember when you go clubbing, it's really hard to take good photos at the nightclub. Do you remember those times, ladies? I can't relate anymore because I don't go clubbing anymore when I had AV. But do you remember every time we go clubbing, we go to the washroom and that's where we take all our photos. So I wish I could have known this foundation, so this would be my foundation go-to when I go to clubbing. But once COVID is done and done, ladies, you should try this when you go clubbing. Okay, so back to reviewing this foundation. This foundation costs $5.93 Canadian in my local Walmart. I actually bought this online at walmart.ca. When it comes to packaging, I actually like its packaging. It is in a glass bottle and it comes with this very handy spatula. I like this because the applicator actually doesn't absorb the foundation, so you can really scrape the foundation on the back of your hand and apply it on your face. I also like that it has that lock over here. You can see that there's like a lock here. You could really like seal this. Do you hear that click? So when it comes to packaging, it's a thumbs up for me. Now when it comes to shade, I got the shade Classic Beige. When I was trying this on, I thought that it was really pink on me. It doesn't have the warm tone. But looking at it now, it's not too bad. And on photos, it looks great. In person, only if you really analyze my skin, you'll be like, oh, you look a little pink. But no, what do you guys think? I think that is not a perfect shade, but I think it's a good enough shade for me. If you're an NC30, like let me know what shade you're using on this foundation because I'm actually liking this foundation and I think the Classic Beige is kind of on the pink tone for me. So here's the condition of my face. I have a healing pimple in the middle of my nose and the side of my cheeks. And I also have an oily T-zone and I have freckles on top of my cheeks. So let's get started. Let's try this foundation on. So on my right side, I already primed my face and I also put moisturizer on. Okay, so I'm gonna shake this bottle. So on my right side, I'm going to use a sponge. And then on my left side, I am going to use a brush. And you know my favorite sponge? It's my AIRBRUSH sponge. Oh yeah, I think I got the right color. But it's a little dark, but I think we can live with it. Oh no, it's a little pink. I have yellow undertone, but I think I got a shade that is pink tone. Usually, if they say beige, I assume that it's yellow. But in this case, it's not. Application so far is good with my sponge. It's like a gel consistency. It's like you know those moisturizer that comes in a gel form? That's kind of how it is. But man, the smell, it's not too pleasant. The smell is like chemical. It's like, I don't know, but it's not a pleasant smell. It's not like a clean smell. It doesn't stink, but most foundations really have this flowery scent or like a spa-like scent. This one smells like makeup. You know how old formulas smell like? This is how it smells like. Okay, so this is the right side. Looking closely at the mirror, it actually has good coverage. I would say medium coverage now. I can still see a little of the redness here and here, but my freckles are not that visible. I have to color correct the redness though, that I really need to do. But so far, coverage really good. Medium coverage, I would say. And then on the other side, I'm going to use a brush. Oh gosh. It really looks pink on me. I guess I'm going to just go heavy with highlight and contour because this really looks pink. It's not too obvious on the camera. Maybe it really has some magic when it comes to photography and film. But in person, if you see me, I really look pink. Sorry, I need to use my sponge. It's just, you can really see my pores here, then here where I primed. I would suggest if you're gonna use this and you have textured skin, be sure to put a primer. My favorite primer is the Makeup Forever one in the gray tube. That's really good in hiding pores. And I suggest using a sponge than a brush because it really lays flat on your skin when you use a brush and it can highlight your pores. But at least with this brush, I can easily go like in the corner of my nose. So that's the side with the brush. And that's the side with the sponge. So the main difference that I can see is that on my right side where I put the primer, and my skin looks more matte. I don't know if it's because it's setting now, but for sure this one looks more matte and my pores, they don't look that visible. The primer really helped in minimizing the look of my pores, unlike on my left side, I can really see my pores here on my cheeks. When it comes to coverage, I think that this can give you a medium coverage. I guess it can go full, but I don't think it can really hide like the redness. You really have to make sure that you color correct and conceal when it comes to your redness and blemishes. So it's 1:03 p.m. So what I'm gonna do now is finish my makeup and then test some photography and then I'll be back. So I'm back and I finished my makeup. So my first impression when it comes to coverage, I think that this can give you a medium to full coverage. I went for a medium coverage, but I'm actually really liking it. When it comes to blemishes and redness on your face, you really have to put a concealer and put a corrector on top of those blemishes to really hide them. But when it comes to my freckles, it's actually good in hiding them. And it's very light on the face and also very matte, so I think that it's really good for oily skin. And it really didn't move when I was putting my powder, blush, and powder contour. It also didn't move when I was using my cream contour. So it's a good base for foundation. So now what we're going to do is test its wearability. So I'll be updating you on the 5th hour and on the 10th. This foundation actually claims to be made for photography and I was really amazed. So I used my camera, flash and non-flash. You would see that it really reflects good on camera. It looks like I have good skin, it has a good coverage, and overall it just looks like you have an amazing skin on camera. And even on my phone camera, it looks good. The only thing that was bad is when I use my not the selfie camera, but the back of my camera. When I use that, I can really see the pores on my left cheek where I didn't put a primer. So when it comes to photography claims, this is really good. So if you need a foundation where you know you'll be photographed, this is a really good foundation. So it's now 1:40 p.m. and I'll be updating you on the 5th hour and on the 10th hour. So I'm back and now it is 6:06 p.m. So I cooked, I ate, we went outside, and the only thing that I'm noticing is that I don't have a lot of foundation near my lips, and I believe that's because when I was eating, I wiped my face. But you know what? This is surprising. I still have foundation on the side of my nose. I added some highlight because I filmed another video. But so far, the only oily part on my face is in between my eyebrows, like right over there. But my nose is matte. The side of my cheeks, they're matte. And nothing moved, nothing creased. So far, it's really, really good. So I'm going to remove the oil on my forehead. Oh my god, I'm so oily on my forehead. But honestly, when you see me, you wouldn't tell me that I'm like very, very oily. Visually, I don't look oily, but obviously my blotting sheet will tell you that I'm oily. But when you look at it, I don't look that oily. And once that oil is gone, the foundation looks fresh again. And I actually took a photo before sitting down here, and it still looks good in photos. I actually tried studio lights because I know they've tried it on different lights and different phones, but yeah, it really still looks good on camera and it looks very matte. I'm gonna press it on my cheeks. Yeah, there's minimal oil on my cheeks. I can't believe that. And it doesn't even claim this is for oily skin, but it really stayed matte on my face. So thumbs up for that. And as I've told you, the only part that looks oily is the part in between my eyebrows, and that's it. But it really kept my skin matte for the whole 6 hours. So that's my 6th hour update. I'll be back again for the 10th hour update, and then I'll give you my final. So I am on my 10th hour now, and here's my update. Looking in the mirror, the oil is again just in between my eyebrows, a little on my forehead, but my nose is actually very matte and the side of my cheeks is very matte. I added some highlight a few hours ago when I was filming a different video. So the side of my cheeks is more glowy, but that's just the highlight. But so far so good. It really kept my face really matte. And the claim of this foundation is really not focused on controlling your oil. But I get it now. I get that this is on the top of the list when it comes to drugstore foundation that is raved about for oily skin, because it really kept my face matte. When it comes to coverage, the side of my face has less of the foundation, and I think it's because I was wearing a coat and it has been rubbing on the side of my face. I wasn't wearing a mask, but I feel like that has potentially removed some of the foundation on the side of my face, but the center of my face still has that good coverage, and I didn't put a finishing spray. But when it comes to the center of my face, I would say that it is in a medium coverage still. I think that the powder really helped. The powder contour, the powder brush, it really helped in keeping the foundation to stick on my face. So if you're using this foundation and you want it to last, just make sure to really set it well with powder. So since this foundation is really geared towards being a good foundation for photography, let's test it out again and let's take a photo. I don't know what magic they put in this foundation, but for $6, it really looks good on camera, even on the 10th hour. So now I'm going to tell you my pros and cons and my final thoughts about this foundation. So let's start with the pros. My first pro, it really delivers when it comes to photography. It actually passed the photography test with flying colors. And I can't believe that I'm saying this for a drugstore foundation, but this, hands down, is one of the best foundation for photos. I can actually compare this to an airbrush makeup because it really sticks onto your skin. My second pro is that it's very affordable at $6 for 30 ml. It's very, very affordable. My third pro is that it can give you a medium to full coverage. It really hid the redness on my skin. Not the really dark blemishes, but I actually like that it really evened out my skin tone. It hid the freckles on top of my cheeks, and I really look flawless in photos. And I also really like that it's very light on the face. It doesn't feel heavy at all. I also like that it didn't cling on my dry spots, on my flaky spots, and it doesn't feel patchy. And my final pro is that it doesn't crease. It actually really held well on the side of my nose. Usually there's a buildup of foundation on the side of my nose, but this foundation did not do that at all. Now for my cons. My first con is that you really have to make sure that you have a good primer before you put this foundation on, especially if you have textured skin and if you have big pores, because this foundation can actually highlight your pores and texture of your skin. Make sure that when you're using this foundation, just put your trustworthy primer. And my second con is that in person, it really looks like you have makeup on. It doesn't look skin-like, and if you know me, I lean towards foundation that looks more like skin. And I guess because it's very matte and this foundation is meant for photography, it has to be that way. So my final thoughts on giving this foundation a 4 out of 5-star rating. If you need a foundation or if you need a makeup for photography, this is the foundation that you should be grabbing. I highly recommend it. If you have any parties or occasions and you know that you'll be photographed, this is a really good foundation. So on my next video, I'll be reviewing this CoverGirl True Blend Matte Made Foundation. So make sure to like this video, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you'll always be updated once a new video is up. Meanwhile, you can check my playlist where I review both drugstore and high-end foundations. And if you have any foundation requests, just comment down below. Thank you so much, dolls, for watching. I'll see you on my next one. Keep safe!